Hey, good morning, team. Hope you all are doing well. Today's topic, I want to go over how long should a marathon training block be? And this particular question was asked by a subscriber called, his name is Jim Reel Alcaraz. He said, "Hey, coach, thanks for the tips. Can you do a video on phases in a marathon training block? I'm about to start training for a sub 3 hour marathon that I hope to complete in May 2023. And it would help a lot to hear a well-accomplished runner explain it. Thank you." Jim Rowe, definitely a great question. As far as a marathon training block, as I talk about in other videos, a minimum of 16 weeks, preferably between 20 and 24 weeks, is the proper time frame to train for a marathon, especially for these longer races, because you have more time to prepare your body to adapt to the physiological stresses that you're going to be placing on it. Trying to cram training into a 4 to 8 week block of training is very, very difficult. I mean, yeah, you can still get really solid fitness and general fitness in a matter of month to 2 month of training, 2 months of training. But if you're training for between 4 and 6 months, you're much better off preparing for breaking this 3 hour marathon because you're not rushing your fitness. And again, it takes anywhere from 21 days to 4 weeks for the body to adapt to any stress load you're placing on it. So you cannot be in a hurry to get in this type of shape. As you already know, you have to hold 652 mile pace for 26.2 miles or 416 per kilometer for 42K, 0.2K in order to break that 3 hour marathon barrier. So the 4 specific marathon phases, or in terms of training phases that I focus on with the training plans and the running courses that I have on RunDreamAchieve.com, are the aerobic phase, where we're really just basically focusing on building easy aerobic mileage, as well as doing strides twice per week, and that's between 5 to 6 100-meter strides. And if you're a veteran of the sport, you already know what strides are. But if you're brand new, or if you've never really heard of the term, it's basically a 50 to 100-meter acceleration type drill where you're gradually speeding up and you're really going all out to about the last 20 meters of a 100-meter stride. So they're great for acceleration drills. They're great for warm-up drills, working on your form. But I would be doing strides and running easy aerobic mileage for a minimum of about 4 weeks prior to starting a marathon training plan. Or if you're starting a marathon training plan, that first 4 weeks really should be really geared toward aerobic fitness, strengthening the tendons, the muscles, ligaments, joints of your body. And then we move into marathon specific training, or if it's a 5K training plan, we're really focusing on 5K specific training. What I mean by that is we're really just focusing on running right around aerobic, your anaerobic threshold, or slightly slower than the anaerobic threshold. So that's the lactate threshold point, is where we start to build up lactic acid in the body. You're running anywhere from around 85 to 89% of your maximum heart rate. And really, at this particular phase, we're starting to strengthen the body's ability to clear lactic acid faster than it's building up. And again, the overall focus in a marathon training block is you want to make sure that you are running easy enough on those recovery days so that you adapt to the hard training you're doing, but you want to improve your body's lactate tolerance. You want to get to a point where you can sustain goal race pace longer than your competition, and run more effectively, more efficiently throughout your race, not just a portion of your race. So that particular point of the training block, we're really focusing on specific training. We're focusing on getting close to or running slightly faster than goal race pace, but not much. Okay. Then we move into the speed development phase. Okay. The speed development phase is where we're really looking at running at closer to our VO2 max. You know, your body's maximum oxygen uptake. You're running anywhere from around 95 to 100% of your body's ability to run at maximum effort. So you're running at extremely aggressive paces, running much, much faster than goal, in your case, goal sub 3 hour marathon pace. You know, an example of a VO2 max workout might be 800 meters run in about 255 per 800. Okay. Very fast. You're running under 6 minute mile pace versus running 6:52 mile pace for the marathon. Okay. again, running at VO2 max, running anaerobic threshold runs, i.e. tempo runs, doing longer tempo runs, doing speed workouts, all of these combined, along with doing long runs, whether they're easy long runs, whether they're very faster paced long runs I talk about, all of that combined helps to make in your case, goal sub 3 hour marathon pace to feel easier. Okay. Obviously, there's a lot of factors that go into running fast, regardless of the distance that you're preparing for, whether that's a 5K or a marathon. Proper pacing is absolutely essential. Always focus on doing a negative split, running a negative split, running the second half of your race faster than you're running the first half. If you conserve go out a little bit more conservative, you're going to have those carbohydrate stores that you absolutely need to call upon in the latter stages of a race. Okay, we have much more fat storage than we have carbohydrate storage. Okay, so you want to train the body to utilize what it has much more of, which is fat storage, and to conserve what it has much less of, and that's carbohydrate. Okay, so a lot of times athletes that go out far too aggressive in the race will go into oxygen debt, because again, they got too hyped up. They went out way too fast in the first half of their race, and they really struggle in the second half. And yes, there are times where you're going to be able to go out much, much faster, and because you went out faster, you have that buffer to slow down in the second half and still run a new personal best. Okay. Even when I ran 2:19 for the marathon, I went out in 1:07:06 for the first half, or 1:07:09 through the first half. My PR is 1:07:06. So I went out 3 seconds slower than my personal best for the half marathon, and came back with a 1:12:26 the second half. Okay, so I definitely did a positive split, but because I went out so fast, I was able to slow down and still set a new personal best. That being said, that's not really the smartest way. Again, it's much better, and even if looking back, if I would have went out that day in 1:12:26 the first half, I don't know if I would have ran a 1:07:09 for the second half. So sometimes when you taper down, okay, which is the fourth phase of a marathon training block, when you start tapering down and you start dropping your volume and your intensity, if you go in fully rested, then you are going to get into that flow state. You're going to get into that state where it feels effortless. And if you've trained properly, and if you train sufficiently well below your goal marathon race pace, or your goal 5K or 10K or 10-mile race pace, you're going to be able to sustain that pace. And also, if you've paced yourself properly in the race, okay, you can be extremely well prepared for a marathon, 5K, 10K, had a phenomenal train up leading into your race. But if you go out too fast and you get too hyped up with the competition, or you try to win the race in the first mile or the first few kilometers of the race, you're going to pay for it in the second half. So be smart with your pacing. The longer the race, you have to make sure you're paying more attention to your nutrition, hydration, calorie intake. Okay, you can get away with that in a 5K, but you're not going to get away with it in a marathon or a 10-mile or a 10K. The longer the race, the more hydration and nutrition plays a major part in running a new personal best. Okay, so keep that in mind. So the 4 phases of a marathon training block are the aerobic phase, at least at the Run, Dream, Achieve philosophy. Okay, the aerobic phase, the race-specific phase, where we're focusing again on closer to your goal race pace or slightly faster than goal race pace. Then we move into the speed development phase, where you're running much, much faster than goal race pace. Okay, much faster. You're running down toward your VO2 max. We focus on speed, working on leg turnover, running at very, very high levels of lactic acid buildup, and getting accustomed to that and toughening the body to handle that. So when you get to the race and you've dropped you go down, you've tapered down your training and your volume, then that goal race pace that you're aiming for feels that much easier. So that's my answer, Gemril. I hope that answers your question. If you or anybody else that's watching this video has any other questions regarding the marathon training block or just a training block in terms of your specific race distance, let me know in the comment section below. Leave a comment. If you can, like and share this video, I definitely appreciate that. It helps the channel grow and other athletes and non-athletes around the world to see these videos. So Really appreciate your support, and I will talk to you all in the next video.